Simon says, well, actually, we don't know yet what he's going to talk about, but we'll find out in just a few moments with Simon Littlewood, President of ACG, Asia Now Consulting Group. Hi, Simon.
Mark, it's good to see you again.
And you. Here is the envelope. We're about to find out what he will have 2 minutes to talk to you about. 2 minutes worth of free consultancy here. Indonesia, boom or doom? Your 2 minutes starts now.
Well, you know I'm very positive on Indonesia and have been for nearly 20 years. But it's interesting that right now, Indonesia is probably more interesting than at any time in the last decade or so. And there are a couple of reasons for that. A big reason is that global economics have changed. And if you're looking for growth, wherever you're coming from, whether you're an Asian enterprise, whether you're a multinational enterprise, you need to start looking at which markets are plugged or unplugged into the global economy. Indonesia is significantly unplugged in the sense that only about 20% of its economic activity is dependent on growth, on demand outside Asia.
That used to be a bad thing.
Used to be a bad thing. In comparison to where it was in '97 when all the recent unpleasantness happened, it is relatively not indebted anymore. And the debts that it has, 80% of them are rupiah debts. They're not debts to European or American banks.
In US dollars, which killed them last time.
Which killed them last time. So balance sheet-wise, it's in good shape. Debt-wise, it's in good shape. And the things that used to stop people wanting to go to Indonesia, like corruption, signs of improvement there, are still a long way to go. Infrastructure, because a lot of the growth in Indonesia has been infrastructure-driven, the multinational companies that are that has been commodity-driven, the multinational companies that are extracting from Irian Jaya, from Sumatra, generally from places outside Java, have had to put their own infrastructure in. So you've seen a significant growth in roads, in airports, in harbours. So the infrastructure is kind of taken care of.
Yeah, okay. But what about the human infrastructure, like the corruption and the fact that things don't move too quickly?
Well, my view on Indonesia, I've talked about corruption, but many companies now are managing to make a success of Indonesia without getting mired in corruption. And there are still risks, but if you're worried about the risk, talk to somebody that understands the environment. Come talk to us. Yeah, I can tell you many success stories about clients that are experiencing serious rates of growth. There are 8 or 9 sectors in Indonesia, including sectors like FMCG, that are regularly experiencing double-digit growth. In the next 4 or 5 years, some of them are going to grow 20 to 30%. 230 million consumers, not exposed to the global recession, significant growth, reduction in corruption and complexity. This is a market you've got to be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your 2 minutes free consultancy is up. Actually, the funny thing about corruption is that arguably, look at lobby money.
No, I think America is the most corrupt country on the planet. I've always said this. If you look at, if you measure corruption in terms of the quantum of private money that influences political decisions, it's America.
With all those lobby groups and
hundreds of millions of dollars spent buying legislation. Is that corrupt? In Indonesia, you have to pay the policeman $10 to be let off a fine, but somehow that worries me less.
So corruption is better than.
Well, I think it's. Do you know what? I think it's more institutionalized in America. They would hate to say. They would hate to hear me say this, but
But you're an Englishman, so you can get away with it.
Well,
look at Simon Cowell. you're the Simon Cowell of the X Factor.
Poor Simon, he
world.
gave him such a hard time. I was watching the Simon Cowell outtakes on YouTube the other day. My son was making they are funny. He's really? Wonderful, yeah.
Is he? Well, they're both called Simon, and they're both Brits. Maybe
you have no talent whatsoever, and you will never have a career in singing.
Was that an outtake? I thought you regularly said that.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I guess you're going to tell us to go to your website now.
acgrowthdelivered.com. We put out a number of papers, including one on Indonesia that came out a couple of weeks ago. Go to the website or write to me.